Alright, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So we are still in topic 4, data organization and description. Continue with our lecture 3 with subtopic 4.3, measures of central tendency. At the end of this lecture, students should be able to determine and interpret the mean, median, and mode for n group data and define the relationship between mean, median, and mode. For measures of central tendency, it's a measures that describe the center of a distribution. The mean, median, and mode are three of the measures of central tendency. Alright, measures of central tendency depends on what type of data. So what we are going to learn is number one, raw data. Number two, frequency distribution. Alright, let's look at here. What is the mean? Alright, mean with the notation X bar. The mean is the average of a set of values. It is also known as the arithmetic average or weighted arithmetic mean. That's the other name of mean. Alright, so now as I said before, we depends on what type of data that we have. Number one is either it is a raw data or it is frequency distribution where it is still n group data with frequency table. Okay, so for the raw data, how we can calculate our mean? The mean is obtained by adding all the values then divided by the total number of values. For example, if you have x1, x2, x3 and until the last term xn, you will divide with n. So that's how you can get your mean. Or to simplify our formula, it is just summation of xi from I to 1 to until n for the first term until the last term, and you divide with the number of terms that you have. Okay, so here we are. In addition, mean for sample data is just x bar equal to summation x divided with n. Mean for population is summation x divided by capital N. What's the difference here is just this one. I'm sorry, the color is not clear there. Okay, capital N and your notation for mean for population. Meanwhile, for frequency distribution for n-group data with frequency table, that means it is still ungrouped, but the data stay inside the table. Okay, later we will look at the example for that. So let's look at what we have. The mean is obtained by taking the sum of the product of the frequency and the value x for each pair, then divided by total frequency. So you can have here. So that means you have to multiply the frequency with its value of x. Okay, so that's how you can get your mean. So that depends on type of data, right? Now let's continue to learn about median. What is median? The notation for median is small m here. Okay, the median is the value of the middle term in the rank data. That's mean you have to rank the data first before you can find your median. So it's the same as mean. It depends on what type of data that you have. First is raw data. If your data is come in form of raw, the median is the middle value in the data set that has been ranked in ascending or descending numerical order. Okay. Next, for frequency distribution, still for ungrouped data with frequency table, the median, I'm sorry, here is median. Typo there. Let I make correction there. The median, right? The median is obtained by adding the frequency of each value, arranged and in order until a total greater than half the total frequency is reached. The value at the point is median. Okay, so you have to find the total frequency and then we calculate half of the total frequency, then you can get the median. Or in other words, median is obtained based on the location half of the total frequency in the cumulative frequency. Cumulative is summation F. You can notify it as capital F. Okay. So what's the formula for our median? It's the same for both, which is median. All right. Median is where you can get by finding the n plus 1 over 2 observation. Okay, this is where you need to find the observation first and you get the value of median. Alright. Now let's continue with our mode with the notation capital M. Alright, mode is the value that occurs with the highest frequency in a data set. The mode may not exist, but if it exists, it may not be unique. That's mean you can have two modes with the same data. Alright, for example. So here we still have to look at either it is a raw data or frequency distribution for n group data with frequency table. Alright, for raw data, mode is referred as the most common value of the value that occurs most frequently. Alright? The keyword here is the most common value that occur most frequently. Okay, for ungrouped data with frequency distribution, the mode of a frequency distribution is the value that has the highest frequency. Alright, so for example, we have mode here of raw data. So for raw data, as you can see here, this is an example of raw data when you have data like this, right? So we can see here, there is no data that repeat or occurs more than one that occur with the most frequency. So there is no mode here. And then we have here, as you can see, we have two that occur two times, and then we have three that occurs four times. So 3 here is the mode, which is we notify it as unimodal. Alright. Next one. We have 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 9. So here we have to 4 and 7 as our mode. So it is bimodal. Right. So 2 mode there. Next one we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 as our mode. So it is multimodal. Alright. So that's how we notify our mode. Okay, don't worry how to find all this because some of them you can use your calculator to use it. But you have to know how to use your own calculator in order for you to make it easier. Okay, now let's learn how to use your calculator. I will only show this one type of calculator only, which is FX570MS. So for the others calculator, please practice with the guidance that already provided to you. Okay, so for raw data, all right. You will given a set of data that will be right like this. For example, you have 6, 8, 8, 9, 14, 15. We assume it is a sample. So for us to use our calculator FX50MS, so step number 1, you press times, all right, twice, and choose as D1. All right. Step number 2, we will key in our data. So we go with our first data and just press M plus, which with our first data. That's why came out as n equal to 1. 8 M plus, 8 M plus, 9 M plus, 14 M plus, 15 M plus, and you will get your n equal to 6, which is what does it mean? You should have 6 data. So let's check our data. Do we have 6 data? Yes. And we press AC. Now let's move to our step 3. We need to press shift 1 that we can get the individual values, which is summation x square, summation x, and n. For example, I want to have summation x for us to find our mean that we need to rewrite on our formula. So press 2 there and equal. So you get 60. So when you need to find your mean, please write down the value 60 over, okay, your n. Shift 1, right? Shift 1. So you get, all right. So let's clear first. Your and just now 3 you should get 6, so 60 over 6. And also for standard deviation you will need summation x square. Okay, summation x square we also have just now. Number 1, you will get 6 6 6, so you need to rewrite the values. And you can also check your final answer that you calculate manually and with your calculator. We go with our step 4, which is press shift 2, and you will get all these 3 values, which is number 1, press 1 for mean, press 2 for standard deviation for population, and number 3, press 3 for standard deviation for sample. For example, I want to get the standard deviation, I press 3 and you will get 3.63 to 2 decimal places. Okay, now let's practice to use your calculator on your hand. How to use your FX570EX. Step number 1 is just you press menu and choose number 6, which is stat for statistics, and next choose one variable here. Okay, next step number 2 is very easy. Just press number 6 equal 8 equal 8 equal 9 equal 14 equal 15 equal, and then press AC. And step number 3, press option here OPTN, and you will get 2.1. Choose here variable calculator and you get your values. Very easy for you to practice. Okay, for our data given here, okay, for those who are using this calculator 570ES, okay, let's practice. Okay, step number 1, press mode and then choose number 3 and number 1. Step number 2, just key in your data 6 equal 8 equal until 15 equal and press AC. Step number 3, just press shift number 1 and number 4 sum, and you can get the individual values here 1 and 2. Okay, the one you will need for your standard deviation, and 2 here we need on your mean and also for your standard deviation here. Okay, 60 there. Next, for step 4, for final answer, you can check and also you can get your final values. Okay, shift 1, number 5, and you can get all these values there, which is number 2 for mean, number 3 for standard deviation population, number 4 standard deviation for sample. Okay, with the same calculator, but now with different type of data, which is frequency distribution, still and group data. Okay, and remember, you guys didn't learn group data here. Okay, so frequency distribution, you will have data in form of table, but this is ungrouped. Okay, your X is score 1, 2, 3, 4, and your frequency is like this. So to key in our data, with this calculator 570MS, step 1, mode 1, the same step like just now. Okay, equal. Oh, sorry, let's repeat it again. Do that. Do my calculator clear dah? Okay, let's reset all first. Okay, shift mode, net mode for 2 times and SD1, so equal. SD1. Okay, no need to write down. Okay, let's repeat. Press, okay, wait, to key in our data. Step 1, mode for 2 times or twice. Alright. Alright, to key in your data in calculator FX507MS, press mode twice and SD one. That's it. Enough. Alright. Step number 2, we key in the data, but now we will key in the data by pair. Okay, just now individually, now by pair. Okay, step 2, so press 1, shift, comma, and 19. So M plus. Okay. Next, we shift our second pair. Number 2, shift, comma, 14. Excuse me. And plus. So you have, next we key in 3. Shift, comma, 13. And plus. And then 4, shift, comma, 21. And plus. So you have your data here and press AC. So we complete our step 2. Next, step 3, for us to find the value, individual values, you will have these 3 choices. So for example, I want to find summation fx. Summation fx is actually notified by summation x here on the calculator. All right. So as you can see on my notes here, 2 is for summation fx. So I press 2 equal, excuse me, 170. All right. So as you can see, you need to rewrite the solutions, and we go to for step 4, shift 2. Okay, shift 2, you can get 3 value, the final value that you can check, and you can get the final answer there. Press 1 for your mean. Okay, so your mean is 2.54 and so on. So that's how you can use your calculator 570MS for your raw data and frequency distribution for n group data. So for another 2 calculators, please practice like the guidance that already given to you. Okay. Next, we go for frequency distribution for n group data. This is your questions for you who use a calculator FX570EX. Step number 1, press menu, choose number 6 and 1 variable. Okay, step number 2, 6 equal, 8 equal, until 15 equal, AC, and step number 3, press OPTN, and you get to 1 variable calculator here. And we get your values. Next, for those who are using calculator 570ES, okay, your score and frequency as given below. Alright. Step number 1, you press mode and choose number 3 for start and AC. And continue with press shift, mode, this arrow. Alright, this triangle. And number 4 and number 1. So this is all the steps that you need to know how to use your calculator. Shift 1 and go for number 2 data, and you just put your X one by one and then your corresponding frequency, and after you finish key in your data, press AC there. Okay, step 3, press shift 1 for sum, and you can get the individual values. Okay, summation at square. Remember, for frequency table distribution for ungroup data, summation at square is actually summation f at square that you already multiply with your frequency, and summation x is your summation of x. Okay, take note for these individual values that you will need at your mean and at your standard deviation. All right. And for final answer, you just press shift 1, number 5 for where here, and you can get the corresponding values. 2 for mean, 3 for standard deviation for population, and 4 is standard deviation for sample that we want, the number 4. Okay, that's how you practice using your calculator. And please remember how to use your calculator well. Okay.